to my channel where we are taking a journey through the Bible in a year. We are reading the Bible in a year. We are reading the entire Bible in a year. And we're now on day 64. And today's scriptures will be coming from Matthew 10:26 through 42, Leviticus 9 through 10, and Proverbs 23. As always, I encourage you to read along with me, but if you don't read along with me, it's fine. You may listen along, just as long as I'm just happy that you're here. All right? All right, let's begin. Matthew 10:26 through 42. All right, whom to fear. So have no fear of them, for nothing is covered up that it will not be uncovered, and nothing secret that will not become known. When I say to you in the dark, tell in the light, and what you hear whispered, proclaim from the housetops. Do not fear those who kill the body, but cannot kill the soul. Rather fear him who can destroy both soul and body in hell. Are not 2 sparrows sold for a penny? Yet not one of them will fall to the ground apart from your Father. And even the hairs on your head are all counted. So do not be afraid. You are of more value than many sparrows. Everyone, therefore, who acknowledges me before others, I will also acknowledge before my Father in heaven. But whoever denies me before others, I will deny before my Father in heaven. Not peace, but a sword. Do not think that I have come to bring peace to the earth. I have not come to bring peace, but a sword. For I have come to set a man against his father, and a daughter against her mother, and a daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law. And one's foes will be members of one's own household. Whoever loves father or mother more than me is not worthy of me. And whoever loves son or daughter more than me is not worthy of me. And whoever does not take up the cross and follow me is not worthy of me. Those who find their life will lose it, and those who lose their life for my sake will find it. Rewards. Whoever welcomes you welcomes me, and whoever welcomes me welcomes the one who sent me. Whoever welcomes a prophet in the name of a prophet will receive a prophet's reward, and whoever welcomes a righteous person in the name of a righteous person will receive the reward of the righteous. And whoever gives even a cup of cold water to one of these little ones in the name of a disciple, truly I tell you, none of these will lose their reward. All right. That is Matthew 10:26 through 42. All right. And don't fear 26 to 31, sorry. It says, don't fear persecution. Why would you fear man? You need to fear God. This is the one, because if they kill you, they can't kill your soul. Your soul goes on. But, however, if you're destroyed in the lake of fire, you're destroyed. So that's the people are not who you need to fear. All right. 32 through 33. Acknowledge God when you're around others. Don't deny him in front of others. Acknowledge him. It should be known that you're a Christian and who you serve. And he won't, turn you away or not acknowledge you before the Father. Okay. You won't get up there and he say, I never knew you. All right. We don't want to hear those words. 34 through 39. This road that we're on together, this is not going to be an easy road. You're going to face persecution. You're going to be laughed at. You're going to be ridiculed. You're going to, people are going to question your faith and try to make you question your faith. Rewarded for the small things. The small things that you do now there will be a great reward in heaven. You don't want to be rewarded now because there wouldn't be any purpose of you being rewarded in heaven. And it is just the little things. All right, turn with me now to Leviticus. Oh, Leviticus, man, here I go to the struggle. Reading Leviticus. All right, so we're reading Leviticus 9 through 10, chapter 9. I don't think it's a very long one, but Honey. On the 8th day, Moses summoned Aaron and his sons and the elders of Israel. He said to Aaron, take a bull calf for a sin offering and a ram for a burnt offering, without blemish, and offer them before the Lord. And say to the people of Israel, take a male goat for a sin offering, and a calf and a lamb, yearlings without blemish, for a burnt offering, and an ox and a ram for an offering of well-being to sacrifice before the Lord, and a grain offering mixed with oil. For today the Lord will appear to you. They brought what Moses commanded to the front of the tent of meeting, and the whole congregation drew near and stood before the Lord. And Moses said, this is the thing that the Lord commanded you to do, so that the glory of the Lord may appear to you. Then Moses said to Aaron, draw near to the altar and sacrifice your sin offering and your burnt offering, and make atonement for yourself, for the people, and sacrifice the offering of the people, and make atonement for them as the Lord has commanded. Aaron drew near the altar and slaughtered the calf of the sin offering, which was for himself. The sons of Aaron presented the blood to him, and he dipped his finger in the blood and put it on the horns of the altar, and the rest of the blood he poured at the base of the altar. But the fat, the kidneys, and the appendage of the liver from the sin offering he turned into smoke on the altar, as the Lord commanded Moses, and the flesh and the skin he burned with fire outside the camp. Then he slaughtered the burnt offering. Aaron's sons brought him the blood, and he dashed it against the sides of the altar. And they brought him the burnt offering piece by piece, and the head which he turned into smoke on the altar. He washed the entrails and the legs, and with the burnt offering turned them into smoke on the altar. Next he presented the people's offering. He took the goat of sin offering that was for the people and slaughtered it, and presented it as a sin offering like the first one. He presented the burnt offering and sacrificed it according to the regulation. He presented the grain offering, and taking a handful of it, he turned it into smoke on the altar in addition to the burnt offering of the morning. He slaughtered the ox and ram as sacrifice of well-being for the people. Aaron's sons brought him the blood, which he dashed against all sides of the altar, and the fat of the ox and the ram, and the broad tail, the fat that covers the entrails, the 2 kidneys and fat on them, and the appendage of the liver. They first laid the fat on the breast, and the fat was turned into smoke on the altar. And the breast and the right side Aaron raised as an elevation offering before the Lord, as Moses had commanded. Aaron lifted his hands toward the people and blessed them, and he came down after sacrificing the sin offering, the burnt offering, and the offering of well-being. Moses and Aaron entered the tent of meeting, and then came out and blessed the people, and glorified of the people. The Lord appeared to all the people. Fire came out from the Lord and consumed the burnt offering and the fat on the altar. And when all the people saw it, they shouted and fell on their faces. All right. So this is Israel's former worship system. This is the like he did everything Aaron did everything according to regulations. So these are their regulations. All right. So now Nadab and Abihu. Now Aaron's sons, Nadab and Abihu, each took his censer, put it on the fire, and laid incense on it. They offered unholy fire before the Lord, such as he had not commanded them. And the fire came out from the presence of the Lord and consumed them, and they died before the Lord. Then Moses said to Aaron, this is what the Lord meant when he said, though those who are near me, I will show myself holy, and before all the people I will be glorified. And Aaron was silent. And Moses summoned Mishael and Elzaphan, sons of Uziel, the uncle of Aaron, and said to them, come forward and carry your kinsmen away from the front of the sanctuary to a place outside the camp. They came forward and carried them by their tunics out of the camp, as Moses had ordered. And Moses said to Aaron and his sons, Eleazar and Ithamar, do not dishevel your hair, and do not tear your vestments, or you will die, and wrath will strike all the congregation. But your kindred, the whole house of Israel, may mourn the burning that the Lord has sent. You shall go outside the entrance and the tent of meeting, or you will die. For the anointing oil of the Lord is on you. And they did as Moses had ordered. And the Lord spoke to Aaron, drink no wine or strong drink, neither you nor your sons when you enter the tent of meeting, that you may not die. It is a statute forever through your generations. You are to distinguish between, you are distinguished between the holy and the common, and between the unclean and the clean. And you are to teach the people of Israel all the statutes that the Lord has spoken to them through Moses. Moses spoke to Aaron and to his remaining sons, Eleazar and Ithamar. I gotta sneeze. Take the grain offering that is left from the Lord's offerings by fire and eat it unleavened beside the altar, for it is most holy. You shall eat in a holy place, because it is your due. It is your due and your sons' due from the offerings by fire to the Lord. So I am commanded, but the breast is elevated and the thigh is raised. You and your sons and daughters as well may eat in any clean place, for they have been assigned to you and your children from the sacrifices, the offerings of well-being of the people of Israel. The thigh that is raised and the breast that is elevated, they shall bring together with the offerings by fire of the fat to raise for elevation and offering before the Lord. They are to be your due, and that of your children forever, as the Lord has commanded. Then Moses made an inquiry about the goat of the sin offering, and it had already been burned. He was angry with Eleazar and Ithamar, Aaron's remaining sons, and said, why did you not eat the sin offering in the sacred area? For it is most holy, and God has given it to you that you may remove the guilt of the congregation, to make atonement on their behalf before the Lord. Its blood was not brought in the inner part of the sanctuary. You should certainly have eaten it in the sanctuary as I commanded. And Aaron said to Moses, see, today they offered their sin offering and their burnt offering before the Lord, and yet such things as these have befallen me. If I had eaten the sin offering today, would it have been agreeable to the Lord? And when Moses heard that, he agreed. All right. So, basically, we see in the beginning, Aaron's sons, Nadab and Abihu, each took a censer, put fire on it and laid incense on it, and they offered an unholy fire to the Lord. He has given thorough instructions on how to do things. It's just like when you tell a child, I told you how to do this, and you did it the way it may have gotten accomplished, but it was not how I told you to do it. All right. So basically, they offered incense in the way that God had not commanded. Fire came from the presence of the Lord, and basically, the Lord, set fire to it all, and consumed them in the fire because of, they offered unauthorized fire before the Lord, leading to their immediate death by divine fire. So it basically, we're highlighting the holiness of God and the obedience and worship. Okay, so I'm trying to type some things in that I thought about. But anyway, so Moses reminds Aaron that God's holiness demands respect. And they was just doing something. It's kind of like Cain and Abel, when Abel offered his best and Cain just offered something. He just took some of his grain, when the difference between him and Abel was Abel offered his best. It was he gave directions, and they still, played with God, basically. So Moses reminds Aaron that God's holiness demands respect, and Aaron remains silent, possibly in grief. But if you notice, he said, "Do not mourn them." They couldn't, there was a ritual when people mourn people, and he told them not to do any of that. He told them not to do that, not to mourn or whatever. So basically, and the reason he's telling them not to do that is not because God is angry or anything like that. It's just to uphold your dignity and your sanctity. I guess the people don't need to see them weak. So basically, they offered, and going back to that, they offered fire that God had not instructed them to offer. Okay. There were instructions, but I was thinking in the beginning that he told them not to mourn them because he was, hey, they was bad anyway. But no, that's not the reason. It's just for their, the way the people view them. So, all right. So there was a commandment against drinking alcohol. God instructs the priest not to drink. This is the priest, not to drink wine or intoxicating drinks while serving. So while in service, they cannot. They're instructed not to do this. And this again is for their dignity. So, and that is just spoken kind of out of the blue. The Lord said to them, he gets on them first. You should not go outside the entrance of the tent of meeting. He's giving directions. And the Lord spoke to Aaron, saying, drink no wine or strong drink, neither you or your sons, when they enter the tent of meeting. So basically, it's like they're learning as they go. This may suggest that, that the two, Nadab and Abihu, may have been under the influence when they made their fatal mistake. Because like I said, they were just playing around and just offered anything. Moses then gives further instructions on the consuming offerings. Aaron explains why he and his remaining sons did not eat the sin offering, showing his grief and fear before the Lord. So Aaron explains, he said, see, today they offered their sin offering and their burnt offering before the Lord, and yet such things as these have befallen me. If I had eaten the sin offering today, would it have been agreeable to the Lord? So he just didn't think that it was going to be, and he didn't want to make anger the Lord, I guess anymore. And Moses ends up accepting his reasoning and demonstrating that heartfelt reverence is important in worship, So, all right. Going to Proverbs. That, Leviticus to me is just really a hard read, and it's kind of hard to understand. So I have to look up a lot of things because I don't know. It's kind of just hard for me to understand. Maybe later on I can just devote some time to that chapter and just have a thorough Bible study with you guys on that. All right, so here we are. We're in Proverbs, and we have to read Proverbs 23. So when you sit down to eat with a ruler, observe carefully what is before you, and put a knife to your throat if you have a big appetite. Do not desire the ruler's delicacies, for they are deceptive food. Do not wear yourself out to get rich. Be wise enough to desist. When your eyes light upon it, it is gone. For suddenly it takes wings to itself, flying like an eagle toward heaven. Do not eat the bread of the stingy. Do not desire their delicacies. For like a hair in the throat, so are they. Ooh, that's aggravating. Eat and drink, they say to you, but they do not mean it. You will vomit up the little you have eaten, and you will waste your pleasant words. Do not speak in the hearing of a fool who will only despise the wisdom of your words. Do not remove an ancient landmark or encroach in the fields of orphans, for their Redeemer is strong. He will plead their case against you. Apply your mind to instruction and your ear to words of knowledge. Do not withhold discipline from your children. If you beat them with a rod, they will not die. If you beat them with the rod, you will save their lives from Sheol. My child, if your heart is wise, my heart too will be glad. My soul will rejoice when your lips speak what is right. Do not let your heart envy sinners, but always continue in the fear of the Lord. Surely there is a future, and your hope will not be cut off. Hear, my child, and be wise, and direct your mind in the way. Do not be among the wine bibbers, or among the gluttonous eaters of meat, for the drunkard and the glutton will come to poverty, and drowsiness will clothe them with rags. Listen to your father who begot you, and do not despise your mother when she is old. Buy truth and do not sell it. Buy wisdom, instruction, and understanding. The father of the righteous will greatly rejoice. He who begets a wise son will be glad in him. Let your father and mother be glad. Let her who bore you rejoice. My child, give me your heart, and let your eyes observe my ways. For a prostitute is a deep pit, an adulteress is a narrow well. She lies in wait like a robber and increases the number of faithless. Who has woe? Who has sorrow? Who has strife? Who has complaining? Who has wounds without cause? Who has redness of the eyes? Those who linger late over wine, those who keep trying mixed wines. Do not look at the wine when it is red, when it sparkles in the cup and goes down smoothly. At the least it bites like a serpent and stings like an adder. Your eyes will see strange things, and your mind other perverse things. You will be like one who lies down in the midst of the sea, like the one who lies at the top of the mast. They struck me, you will say, but I was not hurt. They beat me, but I did not feel it. When shall I awake? I will seek another drink. All right. So Proverbs 23, 1 through 3, verses 1 through 3. When you sit down to eat with a ruler, observe carefully what is before you. Don't be deceived by appearance, by the way things look. Things may look good, but they ain't good. Do not desire the ruler's delicacies, for they are deceptive. It's deceptive food. So basically appearance. Somebody may appear, like they have it going on, but they really don't. They may appear good, but it's really not good. 4 through 5 talks about like chasing wealth. Do not wear yourself out to get rich. Be wise enough to desist. When your eyes light up, it's gone. For suddenly it takes wings to itself, flying like an eagle toward heaven. So don't go running after wealth. Because wealth it's a worldly thing, and it's not going to last forever. You can't take it with you. It can go just as fast as you got it. Okay. 12 through 16. So about wisdom and instruction, it brings joy to God. So they talk about it bringing joy to your parents or whatever. So your Father is in heaven, and it brings joy to Him when you do good, when you when you discern, and when you apply wisdom to your life. All right, 29 through 35 is warnings on indulgence. Indulging too much of something is bad. There's some that say it's okay to drink, but indulging in it, like heavy indulging in anything that can take the place of God is not good. Doing too much of anything where it's going to take the attention away from your purpose, and our purpose is to serve. Anything that pleases the Lord, if it's taking the place of that or taking your time out from Him, then it is not good. All right. So today we learned about powerful teachings, obedience, and wisdom. Even in Leviticus, that we talked about obedience and wisdom. And in Matthew, that again, obedience, following God, persevering, even though you may be ridiculed. Don't fear the world, but fear the Lord. But that ends today's lesson. That ends day 64. Until tomorrow on day 65, I pray that the word has added something to your heart and you apply it in your day-to-day. Apply it today in your life. And until tomorrow, be blessed and farewell.